The Galactic Council in panic. The Galactic Council chamber was a place built for calm debate, not for shouting. It was a giant hall floating above a blue star, its ceiling filled with glowing light panels to mimic daylight. Usually the air was quiet, filled with the soft hum of translators working to turn alien voices into clear speech. But today the chamber was chaos. Alien leaders shouted over one another. Their voices mixed into a storm of fear and anger. Some slammed their claws on the tables, some hissed. Some simply sat frozen, unable to believe the news. Humanity was gone. A single sentence had changed the galaxy. The humans have left without warning. The ambassador from the Ithari race, tall and insect-like, clicked his mandibles in panic. This cannot be true. Humanity cannot vanish overnight. Their colonies, their warships, their stations empty. How? Across the chamber, a heavy, scaled warrior from the Varkash slammed his fist into the council floor, making the metal shake. Do you not see? It is a trap. The humans are hiding their fleets. They will strike when we are weakest. Others shouted back. The Zarathi diplomat, a species of long, thin creatures with glowing eyes, hissed in fear. Then why leave their homeworld silent? Why abandon Earth itself? And that was the most shocking part. Every scout ship that had gone to human space reported the same thing. Silence. No human voices on the comms. No trade ships in orbit. No soldiers standing guard. The cities on Earth still stood, but no lights burned inside them. Streets were empty. Skyscrapers dark. Entire ocean silent, as if the humans had been plucked from their world in one night. The chamber roared again. Some were angry. Some were terrified. None had answers. The council speaker, a tall creature with skin like living crystals, struck the floor with a staff of light. Order! We demand order! But order would not come. The fear of humanity was too deep. For generations, humans had been the wild card of the galaxy. They had arrived late to the stars compared to other species, but their rise was like fire through dry grass. In only a few centuries, they had fought wars against powers much stronger than themselves, and won. Their fleets were smaller but faster. Their weapons brutal but clever. They never surrendered, and when they lost, they learned. The memory of those wars hung, heavy in every mind. They never forgive, one alien whispered. They never forget, another added. That was why the sudden silence of humanity was not peace, it was terror. The Ireshi, a small species known for trading, stood up trembling. We must know the reason. Was it disease, famine, a great disaster? The Varkash warrior snarled, baring teeth like knives. Fool, do you really think humans die so quietly? No, this is strategy. They left to prepare for something greater. They left to build. Gasps filled the hall. The thought spread like fire. What if humanity had not vanished but relocated? What if their warships were not gone but hidden? What if they were creating something beyond the edge of known space? The panic grew. Some shouted for fleets to be sent to search human space. Others demanded walls of defense to be built around their worlds. A few whispered that perhaps humanity would never return. But even that thought brought no comfort. For a galaxy that had once united in fear of humankind, their absence was worse than their presence. The council speaker raised the staff again, his voice echoing like crystal bells. We must decide. Do we treat this as danger or as mystery? The chamber froze for a moment. Everyone looked at one another, but no one spoke. Because deep inside, they all knew the same truth. Human silence was never safe. The ambassador of the Telnari, a species of long-lived scholars, finally rose. His voice was slow, his tone heavy with old memory. I was young when the humans fought the Threx War. I saw their ships burn in the skies. And yet, even with half their fleets destroyed, they pushed forward. They fought until the Threx Empire itself collapsed. He paused, his glowing eyes hard. If humans vanish without warning, it is not because they are weak. It is because they are planning something. The chamber erupted again. The words were too true, too sharp. Above the shouting, a sudden alarm rang through the council chamber. A messenger drone flew down, carrying new reports from the outer rim. The speaker caught the message and scanned it with glowing eyes. His crystal skin dimmed in shock. He read aloud. Report from the Ilari scout fleet, human stations abandoned. Colonies dark, but one dreadnought remains, floating, powered down. No crew detected. its weapons online, its eyes watching. The hall went silent. Every leader felt a chill, a human warship left behind like a ghost. Its sensors active, recording, waiting. The Varkash warrior whispered the words no one wanted to say. They left us a warning. And in that silence, in that fear, the chamber realized the truth. Humanity was not gone. They had only stepped away, and one day they would return. The fear of humanity. The council chamber was quieter now, but not calmer. The shouting had stopped only because exhaustion weighed on every voice. Yet silence was not peace. It was the heavy silence of prey sensing a predator nearby. The name of that predator was humanity. Around the great hall, alien leaders sat in circles of light, each one lost in thought. Their translators were still humming, but no one dared to speak. The image of the abandoned human dreadnought, floating like a ghost, awake but empty, was burned into every mind. The speaker of the council finally broke the silence. We must face the truth. Humanity has left. The question is, why? That single word, why, was enough to shake the chamber once more. The representative of the Drossari, a race of amphibians with slick green skin, leaned forward. His voice trembled. Do you not remember? Do you not understand? The humans do not act without reason. When they move with purpose. Others nodded uneasily. It was true. Humanity was young compared to most galactic civilizations, yet their story was one of endless war and survival. No species had risen so fast or struck so hard. The Zarathi diplomat, eyes glowing faintly, whispered, We feared them because they were unpredictable. They would negotiate with you one day and the next their fleets would be at your gates. They smiled when they fought. And they learned faster than any of us. Memory surfaced in every mind. The first contact wars, when humanity, new to the stars, fought 3 empires at once. They lost half their colonies in the first months, but instead of surrender, they adapted. They built weapons from scrap, warships from mining rigs, fleets from nothing but will. And when the war ended, the empires had collapsed while humanity stood stronger. The Threx War, where the largest slave empire in the galaxy tried to chain humanity. The Threx fleets numbered in the thousands. Humanity had only hundreds of ships. Yet by the war's end, the Threx homeworld burned and the slaves were free. Humanity had lost entire planets, but they never surrendered. They had fought until victory was the only thing left. The name of each war carried the same lesson. Humans never stopped. Even when broken, they rose again. Even when dying, they found a way to win. The Varkash warrior, scales glinting under the light, finally spoke, his voice deep like thunder. I have fought against humans. I watched them take losses that would shatter any other species. And still they pressed forward. A wounded human fights harder than a healthy one. A desperate human is unstoppable. His words sent a ripple of unease across the chamber. Every race present had its own legends of humanity, and none of those legends ended in peace. The Arishi trader raised his thin arms in fear. If they have vanished, it is not because they are defeated. No, it is because they prepare for something greater, perhaps a war beyond this galaxy. That idea spread like fire. What if humanity was not gone but moved elsewhere? What if they had found new territory, new enemies, new weapons? And when they returned, what would they bring back with them? The Telnari scholar, old and calm, nodded slowly. Yes, I studied human history for centuries. Do you know what I found? A pattern. Always. They disappear into silence before they rise stronger. They are like storms. First the calm, then the fury. His voice dropped lower, but the translators carried every word with chilling clarity. Perhaps this silence is only the calm. The hall grew colder. Some leaders demanded action. We must unite fleets. Build defenses. If the humans return, we will be ready. Others shook their heads. No defense will be enough. Better to seek them. Better to find them before they find us. And then came a quieter voice, almost a whisper from the back of the chamber. It belonged to the ambassador of the small Kaleni species, known for their peaceful ways. What if they are not our enemies? What if they left because of something else? What if they warned us in their own way? The suggestion was almost laughable, but no one laughed. Because there was truth hidden inside. Humanity had allies once. Humanity had saved slaves, protected colonies, even given technology to weaker races. But even their mercy was dangerous. Because when humans protected, they demanded loyalty. And when betrayed, they punished without end. The council speaker stood once more, his crystal skin shining faintly. It does not matter why they left. What matters is what comes next. Their silence is louder than their words. Their absence is heavier than their presence. And their shadow stretches over us all. The chamber trembled with quiet fear. No one dared to speak further, because every leader there, no matter their species, no matter their history, felt the same truth in their hearts. Humanity was not truly gone. Humanity was not truly gone. They were out there, somewhere, watching, waiting. And the galaxy had only two choices: prepare for their return, or pray. It never came. Searching the empty stars, the council could not sit in silence forever. Fear demanded action. Within days, fleets were sent into the abandoned regions of human space. Scouts, spies, and warships spread out like hunters, searching the cold stars for answers. The first ships entered Sol, the home system of humanity. They expected resistance, automated defenses, hidden fleets, traps waiting in the dark. Instead, they found only silence. Earth floated in black space like a sleeping giant. Blue oceans rolled beneath silver clouds. Cities rose high along the coasts, but no voices filled the air. No smoke, no traffic, no music, no life. A scout captain from the Athari recorded her first report in a voice heavy with unease. "We see buildings intact but dead. Streets empty. Skyscrapers hollow. We detect no humans. Not one." Her voice broke when she added the final line. "It feels like they left yesterday. Like they will walk back at any moment." The fleets pushed further. Mars, once filled with colonies and domes, was dust and metal. The colonies were intact but abandoned. The domes stood tall yet dark. Jupiter's moons were quiet. The great shipyards of Ganymede and Callisto, once glowing with human industry, stood frozen. Half-built warships hung in space, skeletons of steel left unfinished, and then came the beacons. Across every system, scouts found small transmitters, each pulsing with the same message in every language of the Council: "Do not follow." The words chilled every crew. Were they a warning? A threat or something more? The fleets ignored the message and searched deeper. They traveled to the colonies at Proxima, to the great stations near Tau Ceti, to the mining worlds of Epsilon Eridani. Everywhere the same sight: silence. Stations intact, power running low, but no humans to be found. The Zerathi captain of one expedition recorded a trembling report. "We see signs of departure. Cargo bays empty. Starships gone." The humans did not die. They left. Together. Organized. Planned. And then came the first ghost ship. It was found drifting in the Kuiper Belt, far from any planet. A dreadnought, one of humanity's largest warships, floating with no crew aboard. Its hull was scarred, but its weapons were still armed. Its sensors still alive. The alien boarding crew entered with fear, their steps echoing through the empty corridors. The ship smelled of metal and ash, but there were no bodies. Only silence on the main command deck. The boarding party found something carved into the captain's chair. 3 words: "We will return." The recording of that discovery spread across the council, faster than light. Leaders watched in silence, their fear doubling. Humanity had not fled in panic. They had not been destroyed. They had left a message, and worse, they had left their warships behind, not dead, but waiting. The Arashi, small and nervous, asked the question no one wanted to hear. If they left their strongest ships here, then what ships did they take with them? The Telnari scholar answered quietly. Stronger ones. The search continued. In the ruins of human colonies, evidence grew. Maps burned into walls, star charts drawn on consoles, coordinates erased with care. It was as if humanity had carefully hidden where they had gone. Every trail ended in darkness. But the strangest discovery came from the edge of known space. A fleet of alien scouts entered a dead system where humans once mined rare metals. The mines were empty, but deep within a cavern they found something buried. A great engine. It was larger than anything the Council had seen. A drive core, still glowing faintly with human energy signatures. The engineers studied it and trembled. "It is not for ships," one said. "It is too big." "Then what is it for?" the commander asked. The answer came slowly with dread. "It is for something larger than a fleet. Perhaps for moving entire worlds." The council chamber erupted again when the report was read aloud. Had humanity built an ark? A vessel the size of a planet? Had they taken their people into deep space beyond the galaxy itself? Theories spread like fire. Some claimed humans were escaping from a greater threat, something the galaxy could not see. Others argued that humanity was preparing for war on a scale never before imagined. But one truth became clear. Humans had not been defeated. They had chosen to leave, and they had done so with purpose. Back in the dark corridors of the Ghost Dreadnought, its sensors still scanned the stars. Every passing alien ship was recorded. Every word, every signal, every breath of fear was stored. And somewhere, far beyond the Council's reach, those recordings were being sent to humanity. The message was clear. The humans knew the galaxy was watching, and they wanted the galaxy to be afraid. As the last report of the scouts ended, the Speaker of the Council stood before his trembling peers. His crystal body shone like ice. "They have gone into the empty stars," he said, "and they do not want us to follow. But mark my words, they are not running. They are waiting." A heavy silence followed, and in that silence, one truth pressed down on every leader's heart. The galaxy was no longer searching for humanity. Humanity was waiting for them. The secret discovery, the Council thought they had seen everything. Empty cities, silent colonies, ghost ships drifting in the dark. But the truth was deeper and darker. It began with a transmission from the far rim. A scout fleet, made of ships from 5 different species, had stumbled upon something in an asteroid field near Vega. At first, they thought it was only an abandoned human outpost, another empty shell like the rest. But inside, hidden beneath layers of metal and rock, they found files, encrypted human data. The Telnari scholar who first studied the fragments trembled as he explained the findings. "These are not random records. These are blueprints, plans, the beginning of something vast." The chamber grew still. The alien fleets poured their best minds into breaking the encryption. Humans were clever, and their codes were almost alive, shifting like puzzles that resisted every attempt. But piece by piece, the secrets opened. And what the Council saw was not comfort. It was fear. The blueprints described engines larger than cities, power cores that could light entire stars, and designs for warships the size of moons. "This is impossible," whispered the Zarathi diplomat, his glowing eyes wide. "No species could build this, not even together." But the files were real. One page showed a ship named Leviathan. Its outline stretched across the screen, so large it dwarfed even the Council's greatest dreadnoughts. Weapons lined its hull, more cannons than an entire fleet. Another page described a planet shield, an energy barrier strong enough to cover a whole world. And then came the most disturbing fragment of all, Project Ark. The Council stared at the translation. The text was simple: to carry humanity beyond the edge. To prepare for what is coming. No one knew what it meant. Some argued it was escape. Others said it was invasion. But all agreed on one truth. The humans had not abandoned their future. They had built it. The Speaker of the Council lifted the glowing staff in his crystal hand. "This is no accident. They left us these fragments to find. They want us to know," the Varkash warrior growled. "Then it is a warning. They left so we would fear what they will become." But the Irishi trader shook his head in terror. "No, it is worse. They left so we would prepare against the wrong enemy. And when we are divided, when we are weak, they will return." Debates turned into arguments. Some demanded all races combine fleets to defend against humanity's return. Others said the files proved humanity had left the galaxy entirely. "If they build ships like this," one alien shouted, "they are not preparing for us. They are preparing for something greater, something beyond." The Telnari scholar leaned on his staff, his old eyes glowing. "Yes, perhaps they saw what we cannot. Perhaps they heard the echo of a storm coming from the void. Humanity has always looked farther than the rest of us." But his words only deepened the fear. The Council ordered more scouts into the abandoned regions. They searched asteroid belts, derelict stations, mining worlds stripped to the bone. And everywhere they found pieces of the puzzle. Engines too large for ordinary ships. Weapon cores left behind, drained of power. Calculations scrawled across walls in human script. Numbers that spoke of distances far beyond the edge of known space. One scout reported finding an entire planet abandoned, its surface carved with strange tunnels. At the center was a cavern so vast it could have held a city. The walls bore scorch marks as if massive reactors had been tested there. They were building something here, the scout captain whispered. Something they took with them. The reports piled higher. Each one added to the fear. Humanity had not scattered. Humanity had gathered. They had left in silence, but they had left with purpose, carrying technology no one else could match. Then came the final discovery. On the edge of Orion's arm, hidden inside a dead moon, scouts found a vault. It was filled with messages, written in dozens of alien languages, words etched in metal waiting to be read. The Telnari scholar read the closest one aloud. His voice trembled. Do not follow. Do not search. The path ahead is not yours. If you come after us, you will not survive. The chamber fell silent. Some whispered that it was a warning. Others said it was a challenge. But all knew it was the voice of humanity, cold and deliberate. The speaker of the council finally spoke, his crystal body glowing faintly. We stand at the edge of a truth too large to grasp. Humanity has gone where we cannot follow, and yet they left their shadow here. Their warships drift. Their warnings remain. Their secrets haunt us. He lowered his staff and his final words echoed through the chamber. Perhaps they fled something, or perhaps they became it. The council chamber erupted once more, fear mixing with rage. But beneath the arguments, one thought pressed heavy in every heart. If humanity was preparing for a war against something beyond the galaxy, what would happen when they came back? Council in chaos, the council chamber was no longer a place of unity. It had become a battlefield without weapons. Voices clashed like blades, and fear was the fuel that made them sharp. Every new report about humanity's vanished fleets, their giant engines, their hidden warnings, pushed the chamber closer to madness. The discovery of Project Ark had not brought answers. It had opened a wound that bled panic into every race. The speaker of the council raised his glowing staff again, but even his crystal voice could not silence the storm. The Varkash warrior slammed his scaled fist against the metal table, his voice a thunderous roar. We must strike first. Humanity has left traps for us. Ghost ships, false signals, warnings carved into stone. These are not accidents. They are intimidation. If we wait for them to return, we are already defeated. The Arashi trader, small and fragile, trembled as he replied. Strike first? Against what? Empty worlds? Silent stations? You would waste fleets on shadows? And what if they return while our ships are scattered? They will crush us. The argument spiraled. The Drossari ambassador leapt to his feet, his slick green skin glistening under the lights. We should build walls around our systems. Every planet shielded, every station armed. If humanity comes back, we will be ready. No, hissed the Zorathi diplomat, his glowing eyes blazing. Defenses will not save you. Do you not remember the Threx War? The Threx had walls and humanity tore them down. They find cracks. They break what cannot be broken. The chamber erupted again. Allies shouted at allies. Enemies accused enemies. Old rivalries flared to life. They left because you helped them, one ambassador cried, pointing across the chamber. Lies, came the furious reply. Your fleets were the ones closest to human space. Do you deny you gave them fuel? Do you deny you sent them resources? Accusations spread like fire. Some species were accused of secret alliances with humanity. Others were accused of hiding information. Paranoia poisoned every word. The speaker struck his staff hard, sending a ringing note through the chamber. Silence. For a moment the noise fell. His crystal body glowed faintly as he spoke. Listen to yourselves. Humanity does not need to divide us. We are doing it ourselves. Every argument, every accusation is their victory. But his warning did nothing. Fear was stronger than reason. Reports began to arrive from outside the chamber. Fleets moving without permission. Borders closing, ships refusing to share information. The council's unity was fracturing, and it was happening fast. On the screen above the chamber, a new message flashed. It was from the frontier world of Koresh. The transmission was broken, filled with static, but the words were clear enough. Unknown ships sighted. Human design. They fired once, then vanished. The chamber froze. Some ambassadors gasped. Others shouted at once. They are testing us, cried the Varkash warrior. They are playing with us, hissed the Zorathi. But the Telnari scholar, old and calm, shook his head. Or perhaps they only want us to fear. The Irashi ambassador collapsed into his chair, his voice weak. It is working. The council chamber boiled again. Some demanded retaliation, a combined strike against the region where the ghost fleet had been seen. Others warned it was a trap, that chasing shadows would only weaken them further. The truth was clear. There was no trust left. That night, the council chamber emptied, but the chaos did not end. Across the galaxy, fleets began to move without waiting for orders. The Varkash assembled their warships near the rim, determined to hunt humanity's Ark fleet. The Zorathi activated their hidden weapons, whispering that they would fire on any who betrayed them. The Irishi, too weak for war, begged larger species for protection, offering trade routes, resources, even their independence in exchange for safety. The galaxy was unraveling, and still, humanity remained silent. The Telnari scholar sat alone in his quarters, reviewing the fragments of human blueprints once more. His eyes glowed faintly as he whispered to himself, "They do not need to fire a single shot. They do not need to send a single ship. Their absence is the greatest weapon of all." Far away on the edge of Council space, the Ghost Dreadnought continued to drift. Its sensors remained awake, watching, listening, recording every move, every fleet mobilization, every word of fear. Somewhere those signals were being sent. To humanity. The Council did not know if the humans were gone forever or waiting in the dark. But they did know one thing. The galaxy was no longer united. Chaos had broken out, and this time, humanity had not even lifted a finger. The Shadow Fleet appears. The galaxy was tearing itself apart. Fleets moved without orders, borders hardened. Alliances cracked like glass. Fear of humanity had poisoned every corner of the Council. And then, the shadows came. It started with whispers. A Varkash patrol near the rim reported strange readings. A faint signal, human in design, pulsed from deep space. They followed it, weapons armed, every sensor on alert. For 3 days they chased the Phantom, but the signal always stayed just ahead. On the 4th day it vanished. When the patrol returned, only half their ships came back. The others were gone, no wreckage, no distress calls, nothing. The survivors swore they had seen shapes in the dark. Warships. Human warships. The Council tried to dismiss it as fear or equipment failure. But soon more reports followed. A convoy of Irishi traders disappeared in the quiet systems near Tau Keti. Their last transmission was a single scream. "They are here." A Zorathi fleet, 30 ships strong, reported chasing a lone human cruiser. They cornered it near a dying star. The cruiser fired once, only once. When the Zorathi ships limped home, 10 were gone, and the survivors carried scars of weapons no one had ever seen before. The most terrifying part? The cruiser did not stay to finish the fight. It vanished into the void. The council chamber shook with panic when the reports arrived. The speaker lifted his staff again, his crystal body glowing faintly. "We do not know if these sightings are real. Perhaps they are tricks. Perhaps they are lies spread among us." But the ambassadors would not listen. Fear had already taken hold. The Varkash warrior bared his teeth. "Do you not understand? They are testing us. They strike once, then vanish. They measure our strength. They study our fear." The Irishi trader trembled. "Then we are prey. They are hunting us." The Telnari scholar, older than most, leaned heavily on his staff. His glowing eyes were sad. "No, humanity does not hunt without reason. If these ships are real, then they are not random attacks. They are messages." The chamber filled with shouting again. But outside the walls, the Shadow Fleet continued to haunt the stars. Ships appeared where they should not. A single human warship drifting near the edge of a colony system. A signal echoing from deep space, impossible to track. A faint shape on a sensor sweep, gone before weapons could lock on. Always the same pattern. One shot, one strike, then silence. Some races begged for peace. If humanity listens, if they see our fear, maybe they will not return in anger. Others demanded war. We must strike every system where they might hide. We must show them we are not weak. But no matter what the council said, the truth was the same. The galaxy was dancing to humanity's tune. And humanity was not even visible. Then came the broadcast. It was short, simple, and terrifying. Across dozens of systems, human signals cut through communication channels. The same words repeated in every language of the council. "We are watching." The message played for 13 seconds. Then it ended. No ships were seen. No source was found. But every leader, every soldier, every citizen heard it. Panic spread faster than light. Entire planets demanded evacuation. Fleets refused to answer orders, guarding their own home systems instead. The council begged for calm, but no one listened. The speaker of the council stood alone in the great chamber, staring at the empty seats where ambassadors once argued. His crystal body glowed dimly as if weakened by the fear around him. They do not need armies, he whispered to himself. They do not need fleets. They only need the idea of their fleets, and that alone breaks us. On the far edge of the galaxy, hidden in the dark between stars, the Shadow Fleet gathered. Dozens of human ships drifted silently, their hulls black against the void. Their weapons were quiet, their engines cold, but their eyes, endless arrays of sensors, watched the galaxy. Every panic, every fear, every move. And somewhere in the vast unknown, humanity listened. The galaxy had wanted to know where humanity had gone. Now it seemed they had the answer. Nowhere, because humanity had never truly left. They were in the shadows, waiting. The Great Divide. The Council had survived wars, invasions, and disasters before, but never had it faced an enemy that was not even there. Humanity's silence, their shadow fleet, their messages, "We are watching," had done what no armada could. They had broken the galaxy. The chamber of the Council, once filled with debate, was now half empty. Many seats were abandoned. Ambassadors who once argued together now refused to attend at all. They sat in their home systems, guarded by fleets, trusting no one. The Speaker of the Council stood in the center, his crystal body glowing faintly with sorrow. He raised his staff and spoke into the silence. "We cannot fall apart. Humanity may return tomorrow or in 1,000 years. If we are divided, we are already defeated." But his voice carried no power anymore. His words were drowned by the sound of fleets arming themselves across the stars. The first to break were the Varkash. Fierce and proud, they declared that waiting was death. Their fleets mobilized in massive numbers, sweeping toward the rim where humanity's shadow fleet had last been sighted. "We will not hide," their warlord announced. "If the humans wait in the dark, then we will bring them into the light. And if the Council will not fight beside us, then the Council is nothing." Their war declaration sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The Ereshi, small and defenseless, panicked. They sent desperate messages to stronger neighbors. "Protect us and our trade routes are yours. Guard our colonies and we will give you our wealth." They were ready to surrender before a single human ship appeared. The Zorathi, suspicious and cunning, accused the Varkash of betrayal. "You seek to fight humanity, but perhaps you only seek to claim their weapons for yourself." Their glowing-eyed fleets began massing near the Varkash borders, preparing to strike if they saw weakness. The Drossari, fearful amphibians, sealed their systems entirely. Their patrols fired on any ship that came too close, ally or enemy. The Great Divide had begun. Within weeks, the galaxy was no longer one body but 1,000 pieces. Fleets clashed on borders, each side accusing the other of secret alliances with humanity. On the trade routes near Sirius, Irishi freighters burned as Zorathi raiders struck first, claiming they carried human technology. The Irishi cried out to the Council for help, but no one came. On the frontier near Vega, Varkash warships opened fire on a Drossari patrol. The battle was short and brutal. The Drossari survivors screamed across the comms, "They are human allies. They betrayed us." The word spread faster than truth. Soon, dozens of species believed the Varkash were in secret alliance with the humans. Others believed the Zorathi were the traitors. Still others whispered that the speaker himself was controlled by human hands. Paranoia poisoned every star. The Telnari scholar, one of the last voices of calm, stood before the council chamber. His glowing eyes were dim with grief. "Can you not see? This is humanity's victory. They do not strike us. They do not need to. We destroy ourselves while they wait." But his wisdom was drowned by war drums. Across the galaxy, battles raged. Worlds burned, not by human weapons, but by their own neighbors. The speaker watched helplessly as reports filled the chamber. Koresh colony destroyed in crossfire between Zorathi and Irishi fleets. Varkash and Drossari were escalating, thousands dead. Telnari academies burned by mobs screaming of human spies. The council was no more. And then came the most chilling report of all. A single human signal cut through the noise, broadcast across a dozen systems. It was not long, only 4 words spoken in every language of the galaxy. We warned you once. The message ended. Silence followed. For the first time, even the most stubborn realized the truth. Humanity had not just vanished. They had engineered this. Their silence, their ghost ships, their warnings, they had set the galaxy on fire without firing a single shot. The Varkash warlord raged. Cowards! Come back and face us. The Irishi wept. We are already finished. And the Telnari scholar whispered the words no one wished to hear. They are not coming back to find allies. They are not coming back to find enemies. They are coming back to find survivors. The galaxy was now a battlefield divided and bleeding, and somewhere in the deep black between stars, humanity was watching, waiting.